Alright, greetings fellow pack members, my name is Opinero, and welcome back to the Shadowcastle series. Now, I do apologize for having that right there. I did mean to go ahead and change my position, but, whatever. So, in Minecraft with Friends, which was the second to last episode video that I previously posted, you notice that I have a different skin. Of course, I just figured that it'll be a nice little change instead of wearing the tux. And, of course, as much as I wanted to keep it, I kind of wanted to go ahead and finally update the game. Or the map, I should say. Because I do have several maps, one being, I believe, Nebula's Village, where I haven't updated the game yet to this edition of Minecraft. The reason why is actually because of the fact that I was not 100% agreeing with the fact that I can't get any higher if I point up. I found that because of the fact that this is more PC than PlayStation, that I kind of just got a little upset with the fact that, this wasn't exactly what I was expecting. And because of that, I really wanted to go ahead and just keep it in the original edition before this game got updated. But after playing around with it for a while and getting used to it, I finally went ahead and decided to go ahead and say, okay, that's enough pouting, just get it done. And another reason why is because one of the updates to the game allows you to mine almost as fast as you could fly. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, yeah. Look at that. Almost an entire section was nearly done, and it only took me a couple minutes to do it. I find that to be awesome and very useful at the same time. Only because of the fact that there is a deadline. Yes, I'm giving myself a deadline. And that deadline is actually the same date where I started this series. And that is in May. Now, I have to go ahead and double check everything and make sure that everything is done. Now, what am I considering to be a part of this section? Technically speaking, the courtyard and the extension of the barracks going through the courtyard is supposed to be considered a part of the castle. However, the only thing I'm considering as the deadline for the castle is the completion of the walls and floors and the roof of the barracks, the main section of the castle, and the tower itself. This is going to be a bit difficult due to the fact that it's going to be an entire empty space inside for the next two floors, entire empty space in here for the next two floors except for the pillars, and of course this area will be filled in later on, and the fact that each and every single floor, which I believe is about 20, is going to be separated based off of this block right here. All the floors are going to be based off of the distance between this block and this block. That's right, it's going to be that tall. So, trying to go ahead and think about everything that I'm going to be doing, like how large the rooms are going to be on the outside, especially since a good portion of the rooms are actually going to be inside of the main section right here. I changed my mind about having all these rooms in the top area. Instead, most of these are just going to be the smaller purpose rooms, so I guess I could go ahead and put living quarters in every other room, workers, papers, books, basically have an entire library in a few sections. It really depends on how well everything works out. And the other thing that I wanted to go ahead and point out is, yes, I am currently putting down the patterns for this section of the barracks right here. Now, okay, that was weird. I don't know why that was white. I've been talking with myself a lot recently, And I do apologize if I do seem a bit distracted and not paying full attention to the current game right now, because I am working on my drawing project, and I am also trying to make sure that I still have enough time to go ahead and do everything before I have to leave in a couple of hours, or get ready for work in a couple of hours. I don't have work tomorrow, but I am spending the day with my friends just to go ahead and relax and kind of take the time off. But I do have to make sure that these guys are done, and this is done, and that is done before May. Now it is currently March, so I have March, April, and May. So I have 2 months in order for me to go ahead and complete this entire castle, which means I, unfortunately, will be reducing the amount of update videos, and instead, all the updates in the game are going to be a lot bigger than, well, normal. And, of course, I have to figure out why these guys just suddenly spawned inside my castle, because I know that I updated the map stuff. I was given the latest update from the game, but I don't exactly agree with it. And what I'm trying to figure out is why on earth is that a different size from this? Okay, so I want to... Okay, so I just put the beacons at different areas, okay. Yeah, because of the fact that it was, originally based off of the height of the ground and not, this level right here. So, everything that you see on this side, all the cobblestone blocks that are currently placed down, are going to be covered in carpet, except for the walls, of course. And basically everything is going to be sticking with this pattern design, and I'll also be putting or what I want to be putting down in the middle is a fire pit, just to go ahead and give the areas a little bit more lighting. So of course I'll have my own unique pillars, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, and I could probably build a pillar around the fire pit, just so that way it looks a little bit better. Another thing too, you may have noticed I have a lot of torches down. Yeah, that's because there was an issue last time. I don't know if I went over this in my previous update video of the Shadow Castle series, but these two guys were actually not measured correctly. As it turns out, both of these pillars were 1 block away from where they were supposed to be. So, despite me measuring each and every single pillar, there was the issue of me not having the correct measurements on the spacing, especially with these guys over here, and I believe it was this guy right here. But you can see all the torches and everything. You probably noticed that I had torches over here too. That's because the pillars were not the only thing that I didn't measure correctly. When I was doing this, I realized that a few of these guys were off, and that I needed to go ahead and kind of fix them a bit. I've been going over this section more than I've been going over the pillars. The pillars were an easy fix, because I just had to line them up with the interior pillars on the inside of the tower. As you can see, the center of this is lined up with the corner of the, I would say, the interior outlining of the tower. So, all of it is fixed for now. I don't see any issues or any possible issues I could have. However, there is the fact that I do need to start with fixing this entire area up, getting that pattern down, going ahead and putting the carpets down on the patterns over there, putting the carpets down on the patterns over here, filling both of these guys in with the cobblestone, putting in the second floor, and putting this, finishing the second floor on the inside over here, finish the second floor on the inside over here, put the walls up, put the roofing up, and start on the tower. Now, I am not considering the underground over here. I'm not considering the ravines underneath here as a part of the Deadline project, only because of the fact that these guys are not really going to be fully completed until every other area is fully completed. And technically this is considered as a interior decoration, or interior, how would I say it? Not decoration, interior work. I would just say that. Because these guys are supposed to be completed as soon as every other area is completed. So all the rail lines, everything that is going to be connecting one with each other is going to be completed as soon as I can get every other section of this map done. Now, is it difficult? Yes, it is extremely difficult. Does it mean I have to prioritize a little bit more? Yes, I cannot work on any of this at all until these guys are completely done. I'll be giving myself a break as far as deadline goes as soon as this is done, because I'll be working on the courtyard, and I'll just be basically going up and down with mining, just making sure that everything else is done. Because these guys, I have no issue completing. The ice is going to take a while. I do have a few areas where it's just blocked up because of the kelp, so of course, after the ice is able to fill in all these spots, I'll be fixing everything. I'll be making sure that it's all filled in, and I'll basically be going back and forth. Also, speaking of ice, I'm going to be taking off a few of these lanterns, and I'm going to be filling all of this in. So, once again, I will be doing a lot of work to the area. I don't know if I'll be actually having any help from friends from work or friends from school, only because of the fact that they are busy, I am busy, we're all busy. Our schedules aren't exactly in sync with each other, so we don't exactly have the same days off. Every now and then we do, but not 100% all the time. So it is important for me to make sure that I put in as much work as possible, just to make sure that this is all completed. And I know that we're not playing the game right now, but in Kerbal Space Program, I will be attempting an EVA mission on the Mun, except that may be it, because I'm trying to go ahead and fix the game. I don't know why it's lagging. I think it's just the amount of information that is currently in the game, because usually I haven't created that much aircraft and spacecraft and probes and relays, and actually have them all out in space at the same time. Usually it's just one vehicle at a time. The highest number I've actually had previously before playing Kerbal Space Program for a series is 12 spacecraft and aircraft out at the same time. So, of course, this is a little can't speak, I apologize. A little bigger than what I'm normally playing with. So, but the fact that I have more than I used to, and that I have to work with more than I used to, it's going to be a challenge, I have to be honest. And another reason why I figured that it would be a good idea for me to just go ahead and start a different area, or sorry, a different file on Kerbal Space Program, is because I would like to go ahead and build bigger ships, and of course these guys will be on their own separate files. I will be practicing a little bit with docking. I am still trying to figure out how to dock. I ended up failing a couple of times on a separate file, which is now deleted, thank God. The issue that I'm having is trying to actually get to the vehicle, and even if I do get to the vehicle, it's the difficulty of actually having them dock. I'm pushing up against them. I'm using my EVA and my actual liquid fuel engines, which the EVA is very difficult to control with the PS4. It's a lot easier with the PC, but that's that. Also, no one has given me any suggestions for the pillars. No one has told me whether or not that only a certain section of the castle should be 2 stories high and the rest of the sections should be basically open space. Of course, originally the plan was the back side would be 2 stories and the front side would be kind of opened up. Another opinion that I had was the fact that this isn't exactly a very, very large castle due to the fact that, how would I put it? The whole idea is that this thing is actually supposed to be newly built in the story. In the story, it's only just to be semi-completed. So everything that you'll see, the reason why all of this is in cobblestone is because of the fact that it was just completed with the outlines and everything else like that. So the second that I complete this map, it'll basically be as if this was only just completed in the story. So of course everything is mostly going to be simplified because that's how it is supposed to look in the story, but an actual fully built castle in my story is going to take a lot longer than just a year, and the castle is going to have more than just separate sections. Excuse me, I do apologize for that. But as far as plans go for the other sections, I will only be dealing with them after I am done with the main section. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to complete the castle. I'm going to take the break and go ahead and complete the courtyard, along with the extension of the barracks into the courtyard. And then what I'm going to be starting on is I'm actually going to be starting on the dungeon and the mines first. The dungeon and the mines are going to be one section themselves, only because of the fact that they are, one, right next to each other, and two, building the underground rail system is going to be a bit difficult with them, so I figured I might as well go ahead and get that finished first. Also, the other reason why I wanted to go ahead and do the dungeons and the mine first is because the dungeon's going to be a little bit different as far as design goes for the tower. Now, the tower is supposed to be a little bit smaller than the actual castle tower, and instead of being basically it wasn't cube. No. Oh my goodness. So instead of having it like a giant pillar like this, it's going to be a cylinder-shaped tower. So what I'm currently doing is I'm just trying to go ahead and double check and see where exactly the height of the tower lies. So either way, the tower is going to be pretty tall. It's just not going to be as tall as this, which is actually supposed to be the original idea in the story. The dungeon is supposed to be a little bit taller than that tower, the dungeon is supposed to be a little bit shorter than that tower. Is because of the fact that, again, everything is newly built, and also the fact that nothing is exactly, trying to put the words together. Nothing is really filled up to the brim. So these guys don't exactly have that many prisoners to hold. A few areas over here, like this mountain over here, is obviously going to be cleared out, and the interior is, of course, going to be the cylinder. Now, as far as the staircase goes, it is going to be a lot skinnier, and it isn't going to be spiraling upwards in the middle. It is actually supposed to be a little bit different than the rest of it, and I would actually like to go ahead and fix some of these areas, because most of the areas over here is just the ice spikes, which is nothing too bad. I can take care of that. The bigger issue, of course, is the mines. Now, you'll probably remember me trying to go ahead and cut out a specific section in the Minecraft with Friends episode that I posted recently. Well, that design is actually supposed to be copied in the mountainside. So, I'm going to go ahead and try to get that specific thing done. Alright, so the fact that this thing is basically one, two, almost three separate ravines attached to each other. I think that building the mine portion of this map is going to be a challenge itself, because it's three separate sections, all of which need to have their own specific form of lighting. Actually, I think it's just two ravines, one very large one and then one short one. But again, it's all a matter of how much time is actually put into this, how much time I can put into this, and also where exactly everything is supposed to be and how much of it I'm going to be building. Because there's a lot of iron deposits and coal deposits in the area, which is actually really good. Mostly the type of area that you would like to go ahead and build a castle on top of. And the fact that I'll have the dungeon tower over there, which should be done pretty soon, a lot faster than that. And the fact that I'll have the mine shaft and the mines done a lot faster than everything else. As I said before, everything will basically be put into its own specific section. And that goes the same thing for the garden and the farm. And the reason why is because with the update of the game, it's not going to be that hard building an entire farm area. Now, I understand that a lot of this is going to be inside the tundra biome. But with everything supposed to be covered up, I'm going to see if I can redesign this, that way I can put it into a mode where there's no raiders. I believe you guys, yeah, you still have stuff in there. I want to redesign this to make it more of a, how would I put it? More of a storage tower, I would say, like a storage area, a place where I can go ahead and actually build a few things here and there and have chests full of herbs and plants and so on and so forth. Now, the whole point of the garden in the story, and this isn't really much of a secret, and a lot of people would usually use this for the same thing, is just to go ahead and get medicines and food and basically have an abundance of supplies like dyes and what the hell is it called? I forgot what they called it. But again, it's not going to be that difficult. Just go ahead and have the land laid out a little bit. Of course, it's going to be modified. All the trees are going to be cut down in the area. That's definitely going to be a change that I will be doing. Few areas are actually just going to be extensions off of the mountainside or the hillside, and what's going to happen is that I'm actually going to be having them basically supported with beams. So I can go ahead and have a specific area built on the mountainside, and it'll just be running off of it, and I'll just have the underside of it supported with beams. Now, as far as transportation, or the difference in transportation between here and the garden and the main section of the castle, is that mostly everything is connected, because this is almost directly connected to the garden, which will be in this area over here. I do apologize for constantly stopping. I'm just trying to think and talk at the same time.
one of the many beauties of ADHD. I constantly go back and forth between working and talking, working and talking, working and talking. Now, I'm leaving the game in its current mode, as far as difficulty setting, only because of the fact that I don't want a whole bunch of mobs spawning and trying to kill each other, especially with the raiders. I really don't want to have the raiders come over here. So, of course, this will be all arena modified. The tower for the farm is actually supposed to be looking a lot different than this. But with the majority of it already being wooden, I'm probably just going to take down the entire thing and replace it with something different. Which is also why I'm getting rid of all of this. I don't need all of this. Now, another interesting update to the game, which I don't want to do because I don't want to go ahead and clean up all the snow again, is that instead of having the snow being dropped down into a specific pattern on a specific block, it's random. And the heavier the storm, the more random it gets. The wind direction and the I would say the frequency of snow dropping on a specific area is actually really good. It's not turned into a specific pattern like I thought it would be. It's actually a real looking snow. And the other thing too is actually the texture of the blocks. Apparently, for dirt blocks, and I was testing this out right before I started the stream, it's a different texture in a specific spot. So I could go ahead and place down a specific block, let's say right here. And you can see two dark spots, a light spot, and the lightest spot.
John, you working today?
That stays in the same area. Alright, I apologize for that. A few things I do have to look out for when I am extending off to another area is this. I'm actually planning on filling this in. I'm going to be pushing it back, basically like this, but it's going to be mostly filled in towards the center. The only reason why is because I wanted to go ahead and do a little bit more, and I completely forgot the fact that I wanted this to look a little bit more natural than it already is. So, that's going to be its own separate thing as well. But it's not going to have a deadline. The only thing that's going to have the deadline is the main sections. One section, another section, and another section over here. And I'll actually be having 4 deadlines, and that is the deadline for the main section of the castle, the dungeons and the mines, the garden and the farm, and the interior/exterior wall. Now, I'm probably going to do a little bit more work on the walls than I am going to be doing on the castle itself, only because of the fact that that's usually the first thing that would be built, is either the walls or the main section of the castle. And the fact that in the story, the whole purpose of the walls was to just go ahead and claim as much land as possible, and to prevent anything from entering or exiting without anyone noticing, it's more than likely that those are going to have almost as much work as a completed castle would. Only because of the fact that those things are actually built first. But again, as far as getting all of this done, I have 2 months to go ahead and complete everything. I'll be doing my best to go ahead and work on this on my free time, but I'll try to go ahead and get a specific date up just so I can work on this. But again, just like everything else, it's not a complete 100% guarantee that it will be done by that specific time, only because of the fact that I do have work, and I do have school, and I do have other things that I would like to go ahead and do. I know it really wasn't much of an update video, only because of the fact that I was actually only discussing 2 main topics, which was the game update and the deadline. But like I said before, it's a lot that I have to work with, and it's very little time left that I have. So I'm going to be fixing a few things on the interior design. I'm going to be fixing a few things on the exterior. I'm going to, once again, measure everything, make sure that it's in the right spot, and I am going to be adding a few things inside the castle as soon as every other section is done. But until then, that will be all. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like. Have any comments, questions, or advice that you'd like to give me, please leave it down in the comment section down below, and I'll be happy to go over it. And if you want to go ahead and see more videos like this, please go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and you'll be notified every single time I'm uploading a video or doing a live stream. Once again, thank you for watching, and as always, I will see all of you in the next video. Bye-bye.